it's been. There has been, let's just get straight to the point. There's been a lot of wild accusations being thrown. We are doing this because of, it was requested in the Zoom call that, some people weren't at the last Zoom call. So the Telegram group. Yeah. That some people weren't there at the last one, or that they haven't been getting updates or so forth. And I am not going to say much yet. I am going to hand it over to, what the people wanted. They wanted their questions answered. So I'm sure there's a button there that you can raise your hand and ask your questions. And then I will unmute you, because if everyone unmutes themselves, it's just going to be... So if you raise your hand, you can ask your question. I will say, please be respectful. Please be respectful. A few people have been blocked from the group for being disrespectful. No amount of money for land, for whatever, gives you the right to disrespect me or my family. None. We have boundaries. And I feel like because we come across on YouTube, like, I don't know, maybe we're too kind or whatever. People try to take advantage of that and maybe feel like, we're kind of weak. We're meek, but we ain't weak. We are warriors of the Most High, and we don't take no BS. So please be respectful. Can everybody hear me? And some people are saying they can't hear me, or one person saying they can't hear me. Everyone can hear me? Good. So is it Salisha David? Maybe do some configuration on your audio. So I just ask everybody to be respectful. Ask your questions respectfully. Even if you have an allegation that you want to throw out there, please do. Please do. We have nothing to hide. And there's no question that is respectful that I'm not willing to answer. So either the camera, raise your hand, you can ask a question, or there's a button. Okay, there we go. But Salisha, I'm going to unmute you 1 second. Okay, you should be unmuted. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Good evening.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. I don't have a question right now. I'm just here for the meeting.
You're just here for the meeting?
I'm sorry.
Okay. That's
here
okay.
For the meeting.
Okay, so I guess maybe some people don't know what's been going on in the group, but there's been a lot of allegations thrown around at me, my family, and the process. And, some people say that, we stole their money. There is no land. There's a few wild accusations going around that has really been disgusting with no evidence. People claim they have evidence, and I'm hoping that they will, put that forward. So this is the reason why we're here. I can give you, I can talk and let you know what's been going on. I want everybody to have their say and speak. So I'm going to let Kimberly talk. Go ahead,
Excuse
Kimberly.
me. Do you have a question or not?
Hello. So I wanted to just clarify something. So a few videos you've made, you've specified that it's Ghana law to give up 10 feet of your land for the roads. Now, during my time for preparation, I've spoken to a few architects to design my house. I've had meetings with other development companies because I'm also trying to buy land for investment purposes, and I've posed these questions to quite a few people within Ghana.
Yeah.
And I even purchased a small plot somewhere else in Ghana. And I've been told that this is not the case. This is not a Ghana law that you have to give up 10%, 10 foot of your land. In fact, before land's supposed to be sold, it's supposed to be demarcated already with the road plans of where the roads are, and then each plot or acre is already sort of demarcated. And so you shouldn't be selling land before it's demarcated and then taking the roads out of the land, because that in that way you're not paying for you're not getting what you paid for. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that with you, because I know that you've specified that a few times. Is that the case with Kingdom developers? Because I know it's not the law in Ghana.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, and what I have been told is that you have to give up 10 foot of your land. And if you don't, then you may find the government comes along when the land is being further developed. There's two parts to this answer. So when the land is being further developed, because there's a step one where we're in the bush, we're not in Accra. So we're in the bush. So this is virgin land. So initially, you have roads that are being cut and demarcated, but at some point, the government will come in and maybe demarcate again. So when we demarcate, we have to make sure that it meets the standard of the government, so that if we put a road in one place, it's not moved to another place. But the roads that we put in are 20 foot wide. Now, for a standard road, a high road, or even a main road, they can be much bigger. And that's why we say you have to give up 10 feet of your land for road development in the future. The second answer is this. Ruby and Yehuda were brought as private estates. So they're private land. It's private estates. For Yehuda, I own the paper for the whole of Yehuda signed by the chief. And everybody else has their sub paperwork underneath that. Once they register their land, Ghanaians. And I know that here in Ghana, I have so many different lawyers tell me different things regarding roads, regarding paperwork. Like, nobody really knows what the actual law is. They're meant to collect tax. They don't collect tax. Like, so I get it. Like, when you're coming from somewhere like the UK, Kimberly, you may be accustomed to something that is not how it runs here. And I get it. You want the law, the law, the law, the law. But sometimes the law gets thrown out the window here in Ghana, whether you like it or not. And sometimes it works for our benefit, and sometimes it don't. People talk about law, but then when they want to get into the country without taking a COVID vaccine, without taking yellow fever vaccine, oh, they'll come to me for that when they want to go past the law.
Sorry to cut you, Daniel. I'm not saying that I need to follow the law. I'm saying that was what we've been told from you, that is the law. So all I'm trying to clarify.
That's what I've been told. Yes.
Is that the case for Ruby, that we have to give up 10 feet? Because my thing is, if the land is demarcated before we get given our land, because we haven't for phase 2 and 3. We haven't been given the land yet. So you could demarcate the land with the roads in it, and then we could still get our full acre. I mean, if you did it the other way round, I understand that concept that, okay, well, I've already sold this acre, but now we need to put in the roads. But if you did it the other way round, where it's demarcated and the roads are put in already, then people wouldn't have to lose any space from their land. So I just wanted to kind of clarify whether that's what you're doing, because I know that's not
that's not what I was doing, because that's not what I was advised to do. So I was advised the plan was to demarcate the land first. That was always the plan. That was the plan, to demarcate the land first, and and that is still the plan, and go ahead with allocation. then go ahead with allocation. But what happened is a lot of people wanted to come and see land. A lot of people were applying pressure to, you know, they want to know where their land is, and there was a lot of pressure. So with phase one, what we did is we cut it up from the GPRS, so from the map. We cut it up from the map. And for those in phase one, there's only one in phase one that came here, Rodri, a few others came. We literally demarcated when you were there. So we had to get the measuring tapes out and measure where your land is gonna be. So that was the case, and that still is the case, but it requires patience. It requires for me to get the paperwork first in order to demarcate the land properly. I can demarcate it with GPRS. We can do that, and we can cut it all up and send out your paperwork, but that causes problems in the future. So we're trying to do it properly, where, you know, we get the actual paperwork and then we go in, demarcate, and then we can allocate. But everybody wants to, I'm coming, I want to see the land, everybody just wants to rush. So I'm one of the, like, this is one of my mistakes. Admittedly, I'm a people pleaser, or I was. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a man that wants to help everybody. And that has been one of my failures. And I can admit that. Like, I've learned that lesson hard in the last 4 months. If you only knew. Out of 300 customers that I have, or more, 10, what would that be? 10%? Maybe 10%? Oh, 30%, no, 30, so less than 10% of people are disgruntled, have bad things to say about me. And me personally, I think, oh, that's okay. That's cool. Because the odds for any company, even my last company, I had a skincare company, I'm very, I like to have my business work within integrity. So I like to please my customers. So in my last business, you know, there's always, you can go to a restaurant, what I'm trying to say, you go to a restaurant review and there's bound to be someone that don't like the food. There's bound to be someone that don't like the food for whatever reason, because there's different perspectives. But what we're trying to get to the bottom of today is, what is the perspective that some people are disgruntled? That is what we're trying to get to the bottom of.
Okay, I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself. And what I will say is, like, I've had various conversations with you over the last year or so, and I believe I've been nothing but respectful to you, very understanding. But to continuously be told, like, even now you're saying people are rushing. Within the first 6 months of buying a land, you never heard from me. You even came and saw me in the UK and you was like, you don't hear from me. So it's not that people are rushing. They just need reassurance, or they just need to know what's going on. Like, even you said yourself, when watching your videos in the early days, you came to Ghana and you was robbed out of £30,000 or something like that, I believe it was, with land. So, you know, and again, like I said, I'm speaking for myself. Asking questions or asking for clarification. Like I said, I'm in a completely different country. I'm not on the ground, so I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on. So asking questions and asking for follow-ups and what's going on and why is it taking that long? I don't understand why it's being perceived in the way it is. Oh, you're rushing. You have no patience. Like you're applying pressure. I personally know that I just asked you, oh, you know, what's going on with the paperwork? Can I have a date? I don't think these are issues. Like, these are questions that should be taken as an issue or as pressuring you. You know, if you was to go to Curry's or something and buy a washing machine and they told you it's going to be delivered within the next 10 days and they didn't deliver it within the next 10 days, you would phone to find out what happened. I've got messages with you and you're saying, okay, in 3 months, the end of the month. Which is fine. I understand that you're waiting on people, so I'm not saying that you're the hold up, but what I'm trying to say is me contacting you to find out, oh, okay, you said that this will happen by the end of the month. What's going on? When is it likely to happen? Why is that applying pressure to you? Or why is that, not being patient or, rushing the process?
I'm nobody should be contacting me directly or needs to, because that's the reason why I created the group in the first place, so that I didn't have to, speak to everybody individually. Don't get me wrong, I have and I do. But I created the group so that updates were in there so that everybody could receive them. I've gone through the group and I'm still looking for where I have not been updating people. I'm still looking for those gaps that where I've not been updating some like people. I'm still looking for that, because I update, and then what I see is I could update and 2 days later people are asking for an update, and it's like, did you not see the message in there? I've updated everybody and let them know what's going on. I don't think it's perceived as rushing. That's not what I perceive as rushing. What I perceive as rushing is people coming here, they're knowing the situation and say, well, I'm ready to do this now, I'm ready to do that now. And even when they have done that, we have said, look, if you want to build now, there are a few people that I've said this to, that have come and been here in Ghana on the land. I said, we will make special requirements for you. The chief has said, you can do what you need to do, because the issue with not having the paperwork, everybody coming and doing what they need to do is going to cause an issue on the land, which we'll get into a bit later. But 1 or 2 people come in, like, they can work with that. And there's been people here and they want to work on their land, and we say, if you want to work, let us know and we can make it happen. Then they go back and start to grumble and say they couldn't work on their land. I don't find people wanting to ask questions. Of course you want to ask your questions. Of course you want to have an update. Of course you want to know what's going on. But I've been very clear in the beginning that, because I hear some people saying, we've been patient. That's right, son. We've been patient. This is what they say to me. We've been patient. We don't have no more patience. And I think to myself, do these people know what patience is? Patience is not when you decide it is. Patience is when it actually is, like when the time is up. Okay, patience is not how long you wait, it's how you wait. And I think that's what I have an issue with, is how people wait, is what they're saying while they're waiting. It's the lack of faith. I think some of you, I'm going to keep this short. I think some of you didn't do your due diligence when you came to me to buy land. I think some of you just came and bought land, but you didn't listen to what I say in my videos. You didn't go back and study who I am or who my wife is. We are children of the Most High. And we have told everybody this process requires patience and faith. And if I'm being bold with everybody right now, I would say the delay is due to the lack of patience. I know not everybody here is in the faith. I know everybody's not in the faith, so I don't expect you to get it. But get this, buying land here in Ghana with me and my wife, it's a spiritual thing that you're getting involved with. And if you want your land, all I say to people in the beginning, everybody, please just have patience and faith. That is it. Not in me. Don't have faith in me. I'm just a man.
We don't.
Have faith in the Most High. I promise you will get your land. I have 50 how many customers in Yehuda village, happy as Larry. Not everything went smooth for them. They still need a bridge to get to some of their land, but they all got their paperwork. They can all go into their land and start building, and they're happy as Larry. So when I look at my phone and I see Yehuda and they're all happy, and then I go to Rudy and everybody wants to hang Daniel Kiing, wants to disrespect me, wants to. No, they do. I see people shaking their head. But when you know
I
what,
don't think that's a fair assessment to say everybody.
Kimberly,
I don't think that's a fair
Kimberly,
assessment for you to say
let me.
everybody.
Okay, so let me address you then. While you're here on the Zoom, let me address you.
Okay.
There was an incident that I'm sure we'll get into, where a customer, Natasha Pope, came to our land. Sorry, she wanted land from me. She paid her deposit. In fact, she paid in full for Yehuda village. She came for Yehuda village. She had a riverside plot. She says she loves it. She sent her Ghanaian goons, that's what I'm gonna call them, goons, to come and see the land. And they said, no, don't take that land. That land is waterlogged. I said, madam, please, take the land. There's nothing wrong with the land. Kwame said, there's nothing wrong with the land, you know. You're going to love it when you get here. I promise you, just come, see the land. The land's perfect. She said, no, I don't want it. They said it's waterlogged. I said, okay, do you want me to resell it and give you a refund? No, I want to go to Ruby Village. I said, okay, this was in September, last year, September. I said, okay, I'm going to transfer you to Ruby Village. You're going to have to repay your paperwork, but I'll transfer you there. But just keep in mind, this is in September. It's going to take at least 6 months for this paperwork, which would be March, which we've just gone past, for this paperwork, because I knew what we were dealing with. She said, no problem. She decides, remember I said March, she decides to come with her husband, who knew nothing about her buying land, to come in January. They come in January demanding, after seeing the old land on Yehuda, they want it now. We want it. It's beautiful. We want the land. I said, madam, I've already resold the land and transferred you over to Ruby. You can't now have this land. Okay, we'll go to Ruby. We all took them to Ruby. She looked at the land. Oh, I don't know if I want this land. Cut a long story short. A few days later, the husband calls me. I don't know what his wife has told him, but he's told me that I double sold his land on Yehuda, and he's taken me to court to fight for me for this land. I said, boss, please speak to your wife, because I don't know what she's told you, but that's not how it went. A few days later after that, I felt ill. In fact, I was ill at that time. I've been ill for about 4 weeks, and I'm only just recovering. A few days after that, they contacted me and said, we're taking you to court. I said, okay, take me to court. Let's go to court, because you can't win this one. Let's go to court. I offered you a refund. You didn't want it. I resold it to somebody else. You should have took the land when I told you to take the land. You still got land in Ruby. Then they had the police call me and said I needed to come to the police station. Kwame told me I needed to come. I said, look, it's Passover, it's the first fruits, I'm leaving my land. It's Sabbath, there was all of this, all in one. I'm not well, I had diarrhea for 4 weeks. Sorry to be so graphic, for 4 weeks. Let me know who you know has diarrhea for 4 weeks and still alive. I nearly lost my life. I said to the brother, please brother, just give me some time to get better. No, we want our land, and they came on and on and on. They had the police at my gate on the first fruits. They had the police at my gate on the Sabbath. I was in there praying to the Most High. They couldn't enter my land because he kept them at bay. And I went to the land a few days, to the police station a few days later to see what the issue was. I go there. First of all, they said my paperwork was fake. That all the paperwork I've issued to people are fake.